Hello and welcome to the W Freelancing podcast, where you'll learn how to raise your rates, get more clients, and just generally have a way better life as a freelancer or agency owner. I'm your host, Zach Swinehart, and today I'm talking with a freelancer named Calista about how she's gone in the past 5 months from feeling powerless and overwhelmed with her client acquisition, very reliant on referrals and like commoditized pricing. She's in Indonesia. She was talking about how people always push the rates down in Indonesia. Going from that to having a system for generating clients and feeling really confident that she can get clients whenever she wants. So I'm going to try to extract all of her juicy wisdom and tips from this transformation that she's made. Her business is called nimblecrafted.com. She's pretty early into validating a new offer and new niche. So if you see this in 6 months, who knows, maybe it'll be a little bit different. But as of now, what she's exploring is using her skills historically as a web designer and developer to help game studios get more downloads for their games. So using her design skills to like basically get people actually downloading the game versus just like viewing the website or the app store page and leaving, which is pretty cool. Because usually designers and developers have a tough time like finding a problem to solve, which you'll see us talking about today. So it's cool to see her doing something novel that really does benefit from her skills and her interest in gaming and that kind of thing. So that's been cool. And yeah, I guess let's just dive on in. So welcome, Calista. Great to have you here. Obviously, we were just chatting before starting the recording, talking about your first campaigns and whatnot. Just to set the stage for anyone watching, this is Calista from nimblecrafted.com. I know Calista from 200K Freelancer and from the inbox before that. I feel like, Calista, you were one of my regulars in the DYF inbox before you joined. And it's been really cool seeing Calista go through the process because like, I can't remember, Calista, what you said in that first message to me, but I feel like I got a really early message where you were like, hey, I joined and I know it's going to be in hard mode because I'm a new freelancer and things like that. But I've been really, really impressed by your whole progress this past, like, I think it's like 5 months, maybe, how much you've grown and pushed through a lot of really big challenges. So it's really exciting for me to see you moving forward, growing so much, learning so much, and most importantly, like you just keep pushing yourself through. Like today we were talking about some of the nervousness for these sales calls you've got coming up and like pushing through all these milestones that a lot of others might fall off at. So before I get too emotional and tear up, I just want to say like I've been very, very, very impressed by you and really honored to get to help you on your journey. And yeah, just keen to hear about it. So that's my goal today, is just to kind of learn what you've been up to, how much you've grown, and what tips you have for others who are like thinking of going on a similar kind of business growth journey or whatever with their own freelancing business. So to set the stage a little, can you tell me like what's your background? Was it design? Like what before you did the 200KF thing 5 months ago or whatever, like what's your one-liner of what you did and who you were and your experience and stuff like that?
People know me as a web developer, but actually I did a lot of things. I do art, I do crafts, I do design as well. So many stuff. But yeah, my main work revolves around web development. Yeah.
And I can't remember what your like, were you at like a day job doing kind of little jobs here and there? Like what's your work situation prior to 200KF?
I was employed in a fintech startup, but I resigned shortly after 6 months. And then that's like a year gap before I joined 200KF, because at that time I was about to graduate from university as well, and I was planning to go freelance all in since I didn't have a really good experience working in a corporate job. And so when you sent this 200K email on email, I was like really hooked because at that time I was really confused in what I was supposed to do to get clients because every client that I got up till that time was only from referrals. From referrals and from people who I know. And so the promise of 200K is to create this system where I can predictively gain my own clients is what really hooked me.
Nice. And so as I recall, you're in Indonesia. Was the fintech startup also in Indonesia, or was like a foreign startup? It was in Indonesia too?
It's in Indonesia, yeah.
So what was the thing that like put you off where you're like, no, fuck this, I'm doing the freelance thing? Was it like the intensity and the pace, or what was the thing?
It's more personal actually, because at that time, since the workplace is pretty far away from my home, and so the commuting time takes like 4 hours back and forth.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like, I think at that time, because I was too tired with all the commuting time and also from the work itself, I find myself waking up to just go to work and then come back home just to sleep. Just like that. And it's really not me.
Yeah.
Don't feel like it's me. And so I feel like, no, this is not me. I'll just go I'll just go full freelancing.
So the vibe I get then, so I've noticed there are kind of like two different camps of freelancers, probably. I mean, there are a lot of camps of freelancers, but like some of them are like, I want to grow into an agency, big business person, make a fuckload of money, that kind of freelancer. And then there's the like lifestyle freelancer, like, I want a chill life, control my hours, work from home, etc. I'm getting the vibe you're in the lifestyle freelancer category, right? Like what's your dream vision that you want one day from freelancing? What's an ideal week like for you?
An ideal week would be something like I can just spend my time traveling around the city or maybe abroad as well, and also spend my time to do what I really like. Like, I think I mentioned before, like I like to draw, I like to crochet, something craft works. That's what I really like. I really want to spend most of my time doing that instead.
Nice. That's cool. I like to remind myself that that's like the normal vision for freelancers. Like I was thinking yesterday about how much work it's been growing DYF and stuff, and thinking about my life when I was freelancing. I was like, gosh, things were easier when I was just working a few hours a week, getting paid pretty well, and playing video games and making music. Like, it was chill. Why did I change everything? It was easy. But I think I just got bored. I always get bored and always want to do something new. I guess that's the ADHD curse, I guess. But yeah, so that's awesome. That's definitely something that I see you moving in the direction of, which is great. Also really cool that you're so fresh out of like uni and into the workplace. I hadn't realized that. That's awesome. Let me think. I've got a little agenda here. So yeah, I think this is a nice time. Like, thinking about your progress through 200K so far, like if you were to pick your one biggest, most exciting win, maybe internally or externally, it doesn't matter to me. But like, what do you think your biggest win is since starting the 200K process, even if it doesn't have to do with me?
The biggest win early in the 200K cohort, I think what made me most happy was that I see myself making something for myself and I can see the result, and that's really motivating myself. And then the second one was, I think last week, that I got my first positive reply, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. Like, I didn't really hope that much for this first campaign, but then in just 5 hours, and then I got my first positive reply.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's so amazing too, because like, so for you, the audience, to have a little bit of context, one of the things that's been hard for Calista with this process is that because, so basically in 200KF, we have you like first choose a niche, then choose a problem to solve for them, then think how to solve it, then think your offer. That's the flow. And the reason we do that is that most freelancers choose a niche wrong. They just like pull something out of their ass. And instead we want something you have some attachment to. And Calista had a tough time with this bit. And we'll go more into this in a minute, but like, I can't remember, Calista, which ones were you thinking about. I remember at first it was like a lot of the kind of more crafting ones. And that was where you were getting stuck, is like, if someone's just selling their scarves on Etsy, there's not a lot of like money you can drive for them with some optimizations. And so she arrived on like game devs / game studios as her first niche and ICP. And can you remind me how you arrived on that? Was like, do you have experience with them professionally, or you just like playing games, or what? Where did that one come from?
It's because I have experience making games.
Yeah. Perf. And so to me, I was really elated to see Calista, you getting positive replies from your first one, because it's like, oh, it's like validation of all these guesses. It's a little bit of a proof of concept. That's awesome. But that first bit that you said that it was really powerful to see you making something for yourself. Can you expand on that? What did you mean by that? Like, yeah, let's hear more.
How do I say this? Personally, I feel like I'm stingy to myself. I don't really like to spend money too much money for myself if I don't think it's gonna benefit me that much. But then I think I started to read this, I forgot the book's name, but it says something like, if I'm holding on to money too much, I'm blocking the flow of money itself. And so by that time, I tried to like see opportunities where I can invest my money onto myself for real. And that is like one of the best investment that I made.
Wow. Well, that's awesome, because it's not a cheap course, especially like in Indonesia at a uni. Like, it took a lot of trust for you to join, and I'm dedicated to making it pay off hugely. So that's cool. So that for you, it was this investment into yourself, and like, presumably the act of making an investment into yourself that stings a bit. Like later, I wanted to ask you so I'll just ask you now, like, what's had you stick to this process and like keep pushing through hurdles when some students fall off along the way? Like every time there's a hard milestone in the course, I'm like, oh fuck, I'm going to lose students here. I need to make it as easy as possible. Otherwise they're going to fall off. And that's the hardest part. You know, we talk about funnels in the course and stuff. It's almost like the course itself is a funnel. And that as you go further in the course, less and less people make it down. I'm like, God, just keep going. What do you think has had you push through so many challenges along the way? Is it that vote of dollars into yourself from the enrollment? Is it like just really driven to figure out how to get clients? Like, what do you think has been the thing that's kept you going?
I think the vision of me in the future, where I don't have to worry too much about where I get those money from, is what really drives me.
Nice. Yeah, man, it's a good one. I think like, because you're new to freelancing, you probably, you don't have the sting that a lot of us would, but like most freelancers, this thing that you've experienced of like just being reliant on referrals and stuff, like most freelancers, that's like, they'll stay in that for a decade. I certainly did. So having that vision for just knowing how to get clients, I think that's a good one. How are you feeling like about that now? Like if you think back to the uncertainty you felt 5 months ago around how to get clients versus now, like it's not like you've gotten a million clients and stuff. You just have some like micro wins, proof of concepts and stuff. But yeah, how do you feel between the two? Like, I'll shut up now.
I think I feel a bit more confident in my hypothesis and stuff, because all of the problems and offers that I brainstormed was all about hypothesis, right? Because I don't really have the real experience on that area. And so after seeing the campaign running and people are opting in for the lead magnet, I feel like now, yeah, I just in general, I feel pretty confident that I can make something more like this to get more clients.
Nice. That's good. And I think it's been cool to see with you too, like, I feel like there's this kind of like invisible serendipity kind of stuff that happens once you start to talk to humans in the world. And like this conversation you and I were having about your upcoming sales call for these people who responded to your cold emails, and how I pitched that idea to you of like the App Store image optimization, and then the fact that they were asking about that, like these little cool things that you never could have like necessarily, I mean, in this case, you probably could have thought of it, but that you often wouldn't have thought of from pure brainstorming. They start to like percolate, and then like invisible magic happens because of just pushing out of the comfort zone and starting to take action. So on my end, I just got to find a way to get that happening sooner and easier, because I know it's been a lot of work to get where you are in the process now. But it sounds like you're feeling more confident about lead gen, which is awesome. Let me, I'm going through my little notes of the things I wanted to ask you because I got ahead of myself. So you got, I didn't get all your campaign metrics, and I think it's still running, but it sounds like you've gotten some engaged leads, you've gotten a call booked or a call about to be booked, and some ideas and validation of hypotheses. When you're thinking about like your vision, you were talking about where you want to move in the future, like what do you think, based on what you've learned now, what are you working towards with the vision for your freelancing business? Like, is it going to be running campaigns, getting clients, staying solo, having the lifestyle design? Is that what you think that's the vision, or what are you moving towards next?
I actually been thinking about, since I'm gonna work with game studios owners, I was thinking of like making a good connection with them so that in the future, I think I really want to make and publish a game, and probably I can collaborate with them.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's like a springboard into some passion projects down the line and stuff too. That's cool. I like that. Let me see what I've got here. So this is, it's almost a reskin of another question, but I'm still kind of curious. So in this process, past 5 months, what was your biggest like aha moment in 200KF that kind of like changed how you approach freelancing? Because everyone comes for the lead gen, you know, everyone's like, oh, I want to learn how to get clients, and that's obviously important. But what I think is really cool is like seeing the other transformations that students get along the way. So maybe your aha moment was just, now I know how to get clients, and that's totally cool if that's what it is. But what would you say your biggest aha moment mindset shift has been that's changed your approach?
I think the fact that we must think about the problem first before settling on the offer itself. I think that's the big aha moment early in the course.
What let me see how I worded it here. Yeah. So thinking about yours, because I know that was hard for you to get to. What were the like challenges and breakthroughs along the way to that? Like what tips, based on where you got stuck and how you moved through it, might you have, or whatever? So sorry, I asked 2 questions at once. So what, on the way to that aha moment, what were like the challenges and eventual breakthroughs?
The challenges, firstly, I was, I think I was too hung up with the niche where I just want to work with the crafters, like those. But then after you said that they probably didn't make that much that can pay me for an ROI, that was when I think through and kind of agree. And so I tried to explore some of the other options. If we're talking about tips, I don't think there's like a specific tip that I think. It's just about willpower to go through the hard moments itself.
Mm. And so when you were having some of the hard moments, like what did you lean on to get that willpower to keep going? Is it just that vision for where you want to go to?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, go you. So that's the biggest one. What are the other, like, if you were to throw another couple wins or transformations specifically, like if you think about this journey, how you've changed in the past 5 months or whatever, what are the other big ways you see that past Calista is different than present Calista?
I couldn't think of one. I think I said it.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I've noticed it, like I was talking to Marcus the other day and he was showing me all of his like time tracking logs and how he made a bunch of SOPs for his podcast. And I was like, oh, he didn't used to do that. But maybe for you, there haven't been as many like that. And it was like just looking at the problem first, and the marketing stuff's all it's been. That's cool. No worries. So let me look at, so my last little bit is asking just a little bit more about 200KF to help me understand where it's been helpful and stuff, and help people who are like listening if they're considering taking a program like 200KF, not just trying to sit here and sell 200KF, but like, first off, it sounds like you have enjoyed it. So what I'm wondering is, like, if you were talking to a friend who's a freelancer who's struggling with acquisition, would you recommend 200KF? Why or why not? Okay. So what would go into it if you were like, why would you?
Because in my experience, the course structure and stuff, it kind of pushes us to take action instead of just theory. And since this is cohort based and we can like talk to you directly, I feel like I'm guided as I move along in this course. And so yeah, I think that's really helpful, especially for new freelancer like me.
Nice. And so one thing that's hard to articulate, I was trying to find the right way to ask the question, but I don't know how to say it. So what things about your friend would have to be true for you to recommend this to them? Like, in other words, like, who is it good for and who's it not good for, the 200KF process? Like, is there a certain type of person that you're like, don't take this course if you blank? Like, if your friend is blank, you would say, no, don't take this course.
If they don't actually have the money.
That's a good, I'll sign my name into that one. Yeah.
Because at least after they purchase this course, they still have like some money left for them to live on.
Yeah,
at least.
Absolutely. Are there any some people don't, basically, I've made a very thorough course, as you know, and I, as the course creator, it's always kind of hard for me because some people complain about how thorough it is. Other people really like how thorough it is. So it's like trying to find the sweet spot where everybody is happy or whatever. So I wasn't sure if you'd say something like, if you're not committed to the work of building the thing, it's not for you, or something like that. But it sounds like, I don't know, I'm not hearing that. Maybe this is just a bad interview question. I'm not sure. Are there any like personality fits or something like that you think it wouldn't be right for?
I have this friend who's really, he says something like, I really want to get freelance jobs instead of working in corporate jobs, but then they don't really put in the work. I don't think those kind of people is fit for this kind of course.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a good one. So before you joined, was there anything like you were specifically skeptical or unsure about when you were thinking of joining?
Not really.
Okay. I feel like, though, didn't you ask me like you weren't sure if it would work for you as like a new freelancer or something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah. I was unsure if this was well suited for me because I was really new and I don't have any niche yet. And so yeah, I was really unsure if without a niche, will this course suit me? But then you clarify that this course will go through the niching part as well. And so yeah, I was fully convinced. And then I was like, bye.
So after you joined and you were having your initial challenges and stuff, like were you feeling doubt about the process? Because like now, like what I really want to clarify for anyone listening, it's like it's not like you just arrived here and like this has been a process for you. You've put in a lot of work. So in those early stages of the course, like think back like when we were in like November doing the niching problem, all that kind of stuff, and you were DMing me your questions back then, like were you having doubts then, or were you like, no, I bet I'll figure this out, but I just need Zach's help? Or was it like, oh shit, maybe I'll never figure this out? Like, how were you feeling at that stage, if you can remember?
I was never in doubt. I just needed help. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. When you joined, like, were you thinking about other approaches or options, like maybe other courses, some kind of coaching program, some done for you thing? Like, were you considering other ways to solve the how do I get clients issue?
Yep. I saw some other courses, but I think yours convinced me more. And since I've bought your freelancing rate course before and I liked it. So yeah, I was down for this directly.
Okay. Let's see. I have all the little journey roll ones. What do you think, this might be hard to visualize, but like if you hadn't joined 200KF, like what do you think you'd be doing right now in your freelance business? Like how would it look different?
I was probably still gonna be asking people that I know if they ever need web design or web development services. Probably something like that. Nothing more, nothing less.
And how would that feel? Like, what's the feeling of being reliant on that for you?
It's gonna be very daunting. And yeah, with lots of uncertainty. And people in Indonesia is really stingy. So they really like to push the price really low. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess what sucks when you're reliant on the referrals and stuff is you kind of have to say yes. Otherwise, you don't know when the next gig comes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you, like, now that you've sent this first campaign, how's your perception of client getting changed? Like, sounds like you see client acquisition a lot more as something you can actually control versus just being powerless. Like, how would you describe that? The way you would feel in that alternate reality where you're reliant on friends versus now? Like, how do you feel about it now?
The opposite, right? I'll feel certain that I can definitely get myself some clients reliably from a system that I can reuse again and again instead of just relying on referrals and stuff.
Amazing. Well, that's great to hear because it's just early wins days. You know, you just sent your first one, just got some leads and stuff. So I'm glad that you're feeling that way already. That's awesome. I'm really excited to see, like, from the stuff we were talking about this morning or this evening for you, I guess we call it. I'm really excited to see how that plays out and stuff. So that's a great thing for me to hear. In terms of, like, on my end, because obviously I've built a million features into this course. I'm curious what aspects of the course, like if you're pick your top three, like not the benefits like Zach, I like that I feel certain now, but like actual features, is it that you think are best? So it sounds like one, you like being able to ask me questions, but what are your favorite other like features, quote, of the course so that I know what to like keep putting effort into and stuff?
I like the SOP stuff for each part of the course. It really helps me to keep focus on what I need to do instead of like going back and forth between Notion and the course page. It's really dizzying for my head. I think that's one. And then I really like the databases as well, where you put examples and the theme plate stuff as well. That's the second thing.
Did you do yours with the AI writer from the theme plates, or did you write them yourself? I can't remember.
The AI writer.
Okay, cool. All right, so SOPs, examples and theme plates database. What's your third fav?
Automation template.
And so how far did you go through the make automation training?
the training lessons.
Yeah, like did you go through because I think I had it broken into beginner, intermediate, advanced. I'm curious how far you went down the rabbit hole.
I think I only go through the beginner ones.
Okay, so just to use the templates. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just web designer, web developer, so I wasn't sure how far you'd go down the nerdy rabbit hole. Okay, so I'll close it up. I've got some final tip asking and future vision for you and stuff. So, gosh, I feel like I've asked this a bunch of times, so maybe you don't have any more, but if you're talking to a friend, freelancer who's struggling with client acquisition, like what tips would you pass on? Like if they're not going to join the course or whatever, they're not going to join, but you're just wanting to pass on some of your biggest tips that you've learned from 2NKF to help them with whatever they're currently doing. Like what would the tips be that you'd pass on to them?
I think tell them to just focus more on the problem first. Instead of just pitching on what features that they can offer to the clients. So like highlight the problems that they can solve first before diving into the technicality. Yeah, I think it's like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. If you could go back to your pre 200KF self, like so Calista of September last year, and share like one insight or something like that, or one tip, what would you tell her?
I think the same thing that I said before, since I was relying heavily on referrals, but I think if I can emphasize more on the problems that I can solve for them, I think it would make a much better impact and I can make more money, I think.
Totally. Cool. I mean, that's a good tip. I'm not surprised that's the one you shared. Any like thoughts or advice you'd give to freelancers who are thinking of joining 200KF, but they're on the fence, other than make sure you have enough money for it?
Since this course is really thorough and it's not an easy process as well. I think they need this willpower to go through everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have a strong why. I think that's a really good way to put it. And I would agree with that. Like for anyone who's thinking about, because for me, I have this thing that I know is unattainable. I would love it if every student who joined, like, made it all the way through, got the results, that kind of thing. And one of my growth points as a course creator has to be like accepting that that's dumb to set that goal, because it's never going to actually happen. And if I judge my own worth as a course creator based on that, I'm not going to be a very happy man. But nonetheless, like, I would ideally like everybody to go through it. And I think to push through these milestones, you do have to have a strong why. It has to feel like a top priority to get this sorted out. And I think that the students who are like really, really comfortable in their current position and they want to do this maybe to, because they know it's the right thing to do. Like they know it would be smart to sort their client acquisition, but they don't really feel that sting or burn. I think they're probably the ones who are most likely to like fall off along the way. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. Has to feel like a top priority. That's good. I'm curious, by the way, like, so the way I set the expectation around this when starting is like, I say, set aside, I think I say 10 hours a week, maybe 5 hours a week. Do you remember what I said? Did I say set aside 10 or 5? I can't even remember now what I said.
I think it's 10.
Okay. So I think I said 10 hours a week for 6 months. Do you feel like that estimate was accurate? Like, obviously you're not through the process yet, but do you feel like that's been about accurate, or do you think that was ambitious and it's actually been more? Do you think it was conservative and it's been less?
I think it actually takes more than 10, especially in the early in the process when we are still brainstorming about the niche, the problem, the solution, and the offers. That's taking much of our time.
Looking back at all the time you spent, like I've been trying to think, especially as I'm working on the lead tables and client forge apps and stuff, like I know some 200KFers really like the AI prompts for that brainstorming stage, but then sometimes I see people who clearly only used the AI prompts and didn't actually think about it. And it's like, mate, you need to fucking use your brain too. And if I layer too much AI into client forge, then people are going to just like automate their whole business planning and not succeed. So like when you look at where you are now, you're getting some nice traction, you're validating hypotheses, and you look at all that time the brainstorming took you in the first phase, and you think about the optimizations I'm trying to make, especially with AI and stuff, like, do you look back and you're like, I didn't actually need to spend all that time and I maybe could have done a faster, lazier route to get here? Or are you like, I'm really glad I did spend that time, even though it was a lot of work?
Spending that time was worth the time.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't think I should try to like automate that whole thing with AI? Like, you think I should make people spend the time on journaling?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. I won't automate it with AI if you say so. Okay. So before we go, like anything you wish I'd asked, anything you want to add, anything you think would be like anything I missed with my questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. And if people want to check out your website, like if for some reason there's a game developer studio listening to this who wants to get more of their games downloaded, where can people check out your business, learn about you, that kind of thing?
It's in nimblecrafted.com.
Cool. Nimblecrafted.com. Love it. And her website's great, by the way. She just spun this thing up a few weeks ago. I was very impressed. Cool. So I think that sorts us out. I really appreciate you sharing the story. As I say, it's been very inspiring watching you grow, and I'm really excited to see you take these next steps. And maybe we'll circle back for one of these in like 6 months and show the progression from here, which is like, you've come from like 0 to 1, and I'm really excited, or 0 to 0.9, and I'm really excited to see this next one. So awesome having you here. Really appreciate it, Calista. And I guess I can do my normal sign. Oh yeah, I'll do my sign off. So here's my marketing sign off, folks who are listening. If you want in on the next 200KF cohort, or you think you might want in, just know that we only open it for like 30 people as of now. Once we're out of beta, I'll probably raise that. But Calista's cohort is 30. The next one's going to be 30. And we sold out the last one. So if you want in, best way to make sure you can actually do that is get on the wait list. And you can just go to dyf.link/200KF or dyf.link/200K freelancer if you want to type the whole thing out. And I like let the wait lister folks in early. So there's the little marketing sign off. Calista, really appreciate it. Great chatting. I'll click stop. Don't disconnect. We'll be here for a second. And for everyone on the podcast, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.